Hey, that looks right.
Where Are We Going? 2018 edition. Blood of the Dead. Catchiness, 20 out of 20. Fittingness, 6 out of 6. Lore significance, 4 out of 4. Overall, 30 out of 30. S plus tier. Now, before I get into my review, I have to immediately defend myself. Now, do I think that this song is better than 115 and Not Ready to Die? No, with an asterisk. I do believe that all three of them are very different songs. And I believe that what they do best. And I can truly imagine listening to any of these songs on a repeat. Hence why they all got perfect 20s in catchiness, but they are just very different songs. This got a perfect Zombies song score, 30 out of 30 S+. And now, after all of the preliminary stuff, finally, let me explain why I think this song is quintessential best zombie song. And it culminates the entirety of Zombies as a game mode. And it is the absolutely best thing to come out of Black Ops 4, which is a little sad, but whatever. Now, to explain first why the catchiness is a 20 out of 20, and that the original is only a 12, which should be explained, is that I want to tell you a brief story about much more hopeful times. Back when Black Ops 4's teaser trailer for Zombies was dropped, and we got our first look at the cinematic trailer for Blood of the Dead, the trailer was so hype and explosive and ominous, and behind all of that, you could hear this haunting choir and instruments, and then Maluka comes in with her haunting melodies to join in before it all comes crashing in on you hard and into familiar yet different musical territories with the original Where Are We Going? And whereas before the lyrics got repetitive really fast in the original version, the intro and the outro sequences help break up the monotony, and the addition of new instrumentals in the background and a choir to back up the vocals, it really escalates the song into, honestly, an orchestral masterpiece. And that is the point that I'm trying to get across with the catchiness score of this song, and what I was talking about with it being very different from the other two. Not Ready to Die is the perfect concert experience. It is a long song, has a long intro, and it's beautifully made. I could see that at any Avenged Sevenfold concert and love the experience. Meanwhile, 115 is the perfect jamming out metal song. It's short, it's to the point, catchy as fuck, that you'll want to listen to it over and over again. And finally, this one, Where Are We Going, for 2018, it is the perfect orchestral story piece. The other two, yes, you'll jam out to, but this one, although you very much will also jam out to, it also makes you feel something, and even experience a story with just the sound. I can literally picture the map and elements of the trailer by just hearing those drums and cymbals and echoing vocals. And that is why I get to 20 out of 20, because it isn't just an amazing song, it's an amazing song that paints an incredible picture that I can always find myself getting lost in. It doesn't stop there either, as where 115 didn't really feel like Keynote or Toten, and Not Ready to Die didn't really feel like Call of the Dead 100%, this screams hellish purgatory. I could not imagine this song on any other map, and since it is a reimagining of the original Where Are We Going, I have to say that it doesn't even fit well into the original map, Mob of the Dead. This song is purely meant for Blood of the Dead. It fits all of its themes perfectly, and all of the new lyrics and old lyrics clash together harmoniously and fit our characters and their motivations perfectly. They are literally trapped in a hellish loop of a nightmare. And even beyond this nightmare continues. Beyond this island, this nightmare continues. And the song articulates this idea so well. And finally, lore-wise, I have to say that it shows us our characters' motivations and struggles for the first time in Black Ops 4. Even the first opening lyrics, Dust of 1,000 Years, shows just how long our characters, specifically Richtofen, have been fighting desperately for their freedom, and how frustrating it all is. It shows that inner turmoil in our characters, and it is done so beautifully. I was also going to originally give this song a bonus point for the sheer production that went into it. There was a full-on live choir used, and a cinematic movie made to pair with this song, and so much more that went into it. It is incredible. But besides the fact that the bonus point would carry the score to a 31 out of 30, and that being very unfair, this is still a remaster of a previous song. And even though it does what it does tens of times better than the original, it is still not a completely original song, and I think that at the very least takes away from the bonus point due to the criteria that I set at the beginning, giving more credence to original songs. So this leaves it at a net 0 in bonus points, but it doesn't matter. Still a perfect 30 out of 30. All in all, fantastic piece, and it is deserving of our new ultimate top spot. And I do say new top spot because although this score does tie with Not Ready to Die, Not Ready to Die got there because of a bonus point, whereas this song got there with the completely perfect scores across the board, naturally. So this song gets a top spot by the very slimmest of margins. Think of this song as a 30 out of 30, and Not Ready to Die as like a 29.99 repeating out of 30. That's how close it is in my mind.
I relish the opportunity to spill your blood.
Amoeba by Adolescence. Catchiness, 13 out of 20. Fittingness, 0 out of 6. Lore significance, 0 out of 4. Bonus points, -1. Overall, 13 out of 30. E tier. Okay, from the highest of highs back down to hell, lowest of lows. The song itself, I have to say, is okay. The song's fine. But that's about all I can say. This song is definitely from the 80s, and you can tell. It's a fine song. Not my personal cup of tea, but it's okay. There's nothing really more to say about it, hence, why it gets a very middle of the road score of 13. And that score is being very lenient because I can see plenty of people saying that they really enjoy the song, it's one of their favorites, stuff like that. I can get why people like that song. That said, what the is it doing on Maur Toten? It doesn't fit the vibes of the map at all. Like, is it supposed to be like the vibe of a dancing in a nightclub in Germany or something? Because it just doesn't. It doesn't at all. It's sung by an American punk band. So what is it doing in Germany on this map? It also just doesn't match the dark and gritty feeling of Maur like at all. And like I said, the song is from the 80s, and like it barely fits the time period. Like it honestly sounds more like 90s punk rock to me. But anyways, honestly, and I have to talk about the lore significance, and don't even get me started on that because obviously there's literally none here. Honestly, I believe that this song is the worst out of all of them when it comes to fitting the map that it's attached to. And many of the others, they just don't fit, like, at all. But, they might sit in another map or something like that. But this song doesn't belong in any map, period. It doesn't belong in zombies. I don't know why it's here. I could see this... Okay, it could belong in a map, not in a Treyarch map. I could see this in Infinite Warfare Zombies. Like, something like Raven the Redwoods. Something, because it has a lot of that 80s synthwave kind of feel to it. But it doesn't match the dark grittiness of the Treyarch zombies that we're used to, especially in Cold War. The Easter egg songs in general usually help build ambience and help the overall feeling of the map and the immersion. But this song does the opposite. It honestly takes away from that immersion. And for all those reasons, I have to give it a negative bonus point for the first time, and I think the only time. Surprise, negative bonus point. I guess I never did clarify that it had to be positive at the beginning. It's such a bad Easter egg song that I had to take a point away. I want to make it clear, again, to any fans of this song, though, that the song itself is not bad. It is just a terrible zombies Easter egg song. I hope that is clear. If not, please refresh yourself to the intro of the video and why I'm giving it the score that I'm giving it. But anyways, E tier. And it's only saving itself by being a half-decent song. But let's get away from this quickly.
Sal? Finn? You here? Plan.
Got it.
Rusty Cage, Mob of the Dead. Catchiness, 19 out of 20. Fittingness, 6 out of 6. Lore significance, 1 out of 4. Bonus points, -1. Overall, 25 out of 30. A tier. This song did for Mob of the Dead what the 2018 remix of Where Are We Going did for Blood of the Dead. It is impossible to think of Blood of the Dead without thinking of that trailer with Where Are We Going from 2018. And similarly, it is impossible not to think of Mob of the Dead and not be reminded of its intro cinematic trailer with Rusty Cage by Johnny Cash. I can still hear those first notes of the guitar after activating the last bottle in the map, and it is just such an amazing song. Typically, I'm not a fan of country kind of western type music, but Johnny Cash is the exception to that. And this song is definitely one of his top songs of all time, in my opinion. I'd give it a perfect 20 out of 20, but like I said, it still isn't my personal favorite genre. And I want to give credence to the more original songs like we talked about before, so I couldn't give it that perfect score. But I completely understand if you do give this a perfect 20 out of 20. Anyways, enough about the song itself. Can we just talk about how the song is the most fitting non-original song in all of Zombies? Like Johnny Cash's music, especially this one, a song literally about breaking out of a rusty cage, fits the theme of monsters breaking out of Alcatraz perfectly. It fits so well, you would think that the song was made for the map itself. Obviously this isn't the case, but I digress. Now, I have to give the lore significance a 1 out of 4 though, because obviously it shows our characters' motives in a way, and that they want to escape, obviously, but it doesn't do much beyond that. So I decided to give it 1 point at least, as I do think more story-wise than nothing, and you know, I do have to immediately take away that extra point because it isn't an original song. Like I said at the beginning, an Easter egg song is best when it is original, as it feels unique and very memorable experience to hear a song for the first time when you're playing on the map it's intended for. And Rusty Cage, although amazing, was not an original zombie song. So I do have to take away from that score, albeit slightly. Hence the -1. It was the only way I could fit it.
There is no advantage in turning it down.
Samantha's Ballad, Forsaken. Catchiness, 8 out of 20. Fittingness, 5 out of 6. Lore significance, 2 out of 4. Overall, 15 out of 30. D tier. The most disappointing conclusion song out of any game, Samantha's Ballad. It's quite fitting that the last ever Easter egg song, so far, got a perfect 50% score, especially with how Zombies is heading. Samantha's Ballad is the definition of not good, but not bad. If this was part of the OST of Forsaken and it played just somewhere in the map, you didn't have to trigger it, then I would not be surprised, to be honest. I also have to be completely honest that this was the only song that before making this tier list I had most definitely not heard before. All of the others I've heard multiple times, but this one not a single time. And I do stand by my score, as I scored it immediately after hearing it for that first time. And usually I like songs better for the first time I hear it. But beyond that, I have to say that it is better than the original Samantha Lullaby, in which I gave that a 5 in catchiness. But, it's not better by much, hence why this version only gets an 8. It gets those 3 extra points by building off of the motif of Samantha's Lullaby to make a fairly cohesive song, and it even is able to blend together multiple versions of the lullaby, which is very interesting. And this also is what makes the song very fitting for Forsaken. This map is literally the culmination of Samantha's journey to acceptance of what she is, what she's been through, and all that. And this song is a ballad, meaning that it is literally a somber recollection of a character, in this case, Samantha. And that is the entire story of Forsaken and Cold War in a nutshell. Samantha is finding redemption and accepting who she is and what she must do. Now, that said, this song doesn't get a perfect fittingness score, however, because there's still a part of Forsaken that is about, killing an elder god, and this song just doesn't remind me at all of those intense themes. The reasons this song being tied to Samantha is also what gives us our lore significance, as it allows us to have an idea of what Samantha is feeling and what she's going through. And she is sad, yes, yet pensive. She knows what she must do, and then she's reflecting on herself. The song reflects that idea and through its instruments, but since there are no lyrics, there's no clear message beyond that personal analysis of it. So although I'm confident that that is what the song is trying to get across, it isn't guaranteed, and it still isn't a very deep meaning, to be honest, story-wise. So 2 out of 4. And finally, I was originally going to give this song a bonus point because of its activation quest, because you have to do this whole side Easter egg quest in the Burger Town section of Forsaken, and it's really cool that you have to do this quest in order to get the song. But then I realized something. The quest wasn't for the song. The quest was for a loot chest, and so that there was some sort of bunny Easter egg on this map, just like all of the other Cold War maps. This song was just tacked on as a prize for completing the side quest, along with some scrap and some other stuff that we don't care about. It is literally just a gold cassette item that is thrown at you from the chest, similar to how Intel or some other game items would be thrown at you. It would have been more effective if, I don't know, it just started playing like all the other Easter egg songs. Like when you finished the quest, it just started playing instead of making it some weird pickup. Making it a pickupable item, it feels kind of tacky. I don't know. Aether. Origins. Catchiness, 15 out of 20. Fittingness, 6 out of 6. Lore significance, 0 out of 4. Overall, 21 out of 30. C tier. Aether is not that bad. I'll be honest, I used to hate on it. But sitting down and listening to it, like actually listening to it, it made me fairly enjoy it. It wasn't too long, it didn't overstay its welcome, and what it does may be simple, but it's very effective. The weird sound effects used for the music are so alien in nature that it makes them very memorable. But it doesn't feel over the top or misplaced, as like I said, it comes together to make a really fun song to just chill and listen to. And obviously, the song, however, has no lore significance, unless you read really deeply and think that the quote-unquote alien noises hint at where the story was going past Origins, and although I can see an argument for it, I think that it's reading way too deeply. And the most shocking part, however, about this score, moving away from the lore, is that in my opinion, the fittingness score is a perfect 6 out of 6. And you might be wondering, why the f*** is there a 6 out of 6? And I don't know, completely, to be honest. But there's something about the mechanical alien noises mixed with the chanting and, for the lack of a better term, ethereal noises interlaced that fits Origins and its vibes perfectly. If I had never heard this song before, I would absolutely attribute it to being from Origins. It just fits the map perfectly. The 8-bit songs, Coming Home, Redamned, and Pareidolia, from Moon and Nuketown. Catchiness, 13 out of 20. Fittingness, 1 out of 6. Lore significance, 2 out of 4. Overall, 16 out of 30. D tier. I decided to lump all of these 8-bit songs into one entry because A, not a lot of people know about them. B, they're all very similar and on one map. Moon, well, it's also in Nuketown, but we try to forget about Nuketown. C, not a lot of people really like them. And D, they're all activated the exact same way on Moon. You interact with a radio or radio-like object in the labs, and boom, you get your song. Overall, I mean, what is there really to say about the 8-bit song? They're fairly catchy 8-bit remixes of the originals they're based off of. They're fairly short as well, only a couple minutes long, but really only the first 30 seconds of each are catchy, and then it already seems to loop. That said, those 30 seconds are a bop, I will admit. So I can't rate these too lowly, as I think they are quite underrated. And, you know, can we just say how crazy it is? The sheer number of Easter egg songs that Moon got? I think it's 5 in total. There's these 3, the 8-bit remixes, and then there's Nightmare and Coming Home, an original song. That's 5 songs, 4 of which are original for this map. And yet, Dr. Toten can barely get 1? Boo! Whatever, I'm mad. Anyways, as expected, both fittingness and lore-wise gets a 1 score, and, you know, oh no, sorry, losing my mind. As expected, the fittingness score gets a 1. Now, why does it get a 1, not a 0? Is because Moon is the finale, and these are remixes of songs from the previous maps that led to our characters to get here. So, having them be remixes of our journey that got us here, I think is a very unique thing, and so giving it a 1 is, you know, it's pretty nice. I think it's a nice fittingness bow to tie on everything. However, them being 8-bit arcade remixes similar to that found in Dead Ops Arcade makes very little sense for Moon. So, you know, again, 1 for fittingness. Why that arcade feels off to me is because, like, Moon is all about being dark and gritty and, like, that finale to this grand scheme, and so having this weird cartoonish arcade like music playing, I don't know, it just feels off to me. But lore wise, it surprisingly gets a 2, not a 1. Said less for the content of the song, but really the implications of the songs themselves and where they're placed. For the reason stated in the fittingness section, it deserves at least 1 point in lore, but it gets another point because these Easter egg songs found in Moon are, like I briefly mentioned, also Easter egg songs in Nuketown Zombies. And if you don't know, Nuketown is interconnected with the map Moon, and the fact that both of these maps take place at the exact same time, which is a rare occurrence in our multi-dimensional timeline. And because of this connectedness being emphasized even inside Easter egg songs, I do think that the lore significance of these songs should be bumped up to a 2 out of 4, leaving us with a total score of 16, you know, D tier. But in my opinion, I think D is pretty respectable for these. Undone, Nocturne Toten Remastered. Catchiness, 6 out of 20. Fittingness, 6 out of 6. Lore significance, 0 out of 4. Bonus points, 1. Overall, 13 out of 30, E tier. This song is a very rare example of a song that I think is really just not good at all, but it fits the map perfectly. Now, as a quick aside, if you didn't know, this song was only on the remaster of Nocturne Toten. I believe it was first on the version of Nocturne Toten on Black Ops 1 during the Resurrection DLC. And then it came back during the Black Ops 3 Zombies Chronicles DLC. It was not in the original World at War. I do know that for a fact. It wasn't on there. And you activate this through shooting all of the red barrels on the map. But we'll get to that one in a little bit. But back on track. To this fitting the map perfectly, I have to, you know, like usual, talk about the catchiness score. And the song just, it sucks, okay? It just fucking keeps going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. It's 5.5 minutes long. Like, you have to know that. And but like, you know what else is a slow trudge through the rounds? Playing Nocturne Toten. The zombies are slow. They spawn 1.5 miles away. And high rounding takes actual real-life days. And it's insane how slow Nocturne Toten can be and how this song really exemplifies that feeling. So, enough about the map. The song being a constant repeat of the same 5 to 10 second melodies, interlaced with an admittedly great sounding guitar solo, makes the entire song get tiring. And even the solo that I was just complimenting can get tiring after a bit, and it makes me want to shut the song off. But then I'd be left with the quiet emptiness of Knocked, so, you know, there's that, I guess. But obviously, like I'm saying, it's annoying. I'll just leave it at that. It's annoying. But obviously, I don't have to talk about the lore. Knocked doesn't have any anyways, so it makes sense that this song wouldn't have any lore. And I do have to say that I do like the activation. And, you know, like I was talking about earlier, you have to shoot all these barrels in order to get it activated. And it's, you know, very unique, so I do think it's worthy of a bonus point. And, you know, before I move on from this, because that's the last thing I really have to say about this song, I do want to say that it sucks that I really like WTF more than this song. When WTF was literally just a thrown-on radio song for the original map, I'm pretty sure that it's also just a song from the World at War campaign thrown in, but what are you gonna do? It's a real shame, but hey, if you like guitar solos, maybe this song's for you, just not for me.
I think I am one of them. Needed.
Remember Forever, Origins Remastered. Catchiness, 18 out of 20. Fittingness, 6 out of 6. Lore significance, 4 out of 4. Bonus point, 1. Overall, 29 out of 30. S tier. This song is the peak form of Samantha's lullaby and what the song should be. It's what Samantha's ballad should have been. But since this song came out before the ballad, I understand why the ballad seemed so lackluster. But this song is the perfect culmination of catchy music, nostalgic motifs, a great message, and overall just an incredible song. The song is incredibly somber, yet also almost inspiring in a way. It's haunting, but not in a bad way, similar to how Where Are We Going 2018 is. And how the song ends as well, it also ties it all in a very nice symphonic bow. It's very, very great and uplifting. The song obviously follows, like I was saying, the pattern of Samantha's lullaby, but the song legitimately ends with the original Samantha's lullaby playing. And that is the ultimate love letter to both Samantha and the Aether zombie storyline as a whole. This also is what makes the song so perfect. It's where it's placed. The song, if you didn't know, was placed into Origins, specifically the last map for Zombies Chronicles, that version of Origins. But the song itself was actually made for Zombies Chronicle as a whole, and it fits the nostalgic remaster pack perfectly. Placing on Origins, however, is just also an incredible choice, as that map truly was the culmination of Zombies as a whole, and is the epitome of Zombies for many players. I can see an argument of placing it on Knocked since it was the beginning, but not a lot of people started all the way back then. I can also see the argument for Kino, since there's a lot of nostalgia coming from the greatest map of all time, Kino der Shoten, Black Ops 1. But it just doesn't fit the vibe of Kino. However, Origins, well, Origins fits that perfect somber feeling it's going for. It fits those nostalgic memories and even fits the in-game message behind the song, as the song is literally about Samantha's remembrance of the past from within the house. The place that she's literally trying to get to in Origins. So it's a perfectly fitting song, and from a lore perspective also gives us the entire reason why these maps are remastered and why they look slightly differently. The song tells us that this is essentially Samantha, and by extension Monty, looking back on the past and, well, remembering forever. It's an amazing song, and even though it is slower and more somber than others, it is a beautiful and memorable song. Plus, the Zombies Chronicles trailer that came with it, iconic. Love the snow globe. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, even the activation of this song in Origins is killer. It involves shooting 4 secret colored icons down in the bottom of the mound with each of the 4 staves that only appear when you're in zombie blood. And then Samantha dolls appear in the circle pedestal in the crazy place, and after you shoot them, you get a max ammo, and this beautiful song plays. It's a wonderful activation that is deserving of a bonus point and kicking it to a really high, surprising score of 29 out of 30.